I will not knowingly receive,
that I will not knowingly receive,
directly or indirectly,
directly or indirectly,
any money or other valuable thing
any money or other valuable thing
for the performance or non-performance
for the performance or non-performance
of any act or duty
of any act or duty
pertaining to my office,
pertaining to my office,
other than the compensation allowed by law.
other than the compensation allowed by law.
I further swear that I will faithfully discharge
I further swear that I will faithfully discharge
my duties as Park Board Seat Number 2
my duties as Park Board Seat Number 2
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Good job.
Did I do it?
You are hereby sworn in.
I'm in, okay.
Gotta have your signature.
Yeah. What do you want me to sign, right up there?
Been a long time.
There you go.
Full dice here.
Thank you, sir.
It has been.
Thank you for serving.
It has been.
Mr. Chairman, you may proceed.
Thank you, sir. Could you call the meeting to order? Have a roll call, please.
Kenny Geeser?
Here.
Reeser.
Here.
Is it Reeser or Reeser?
Reeser.
Okay, Reeser.
Here.
Buffington.
Here.
Jackson.
Here.
Alexander.
Here.
Graves.
Here.
Shelby.
Here. Item number 2, petitions from the audience.
There are none, sir.
Item number 3, discuss and possibly approve the minutes of the September 26, 2022 regular meeting. They're in your packet.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 4, discuss and possibly approve the minutes of the October 6, 2022 special meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Mayor, Chairman, I've got one correction to that. If I've got it right here, I think it's the first time in.
What?
On where it says, Graves said,
Personal, huh? Yeah,
first begun discussion for this project, the parameter set where the renovation cost could not exceed, instead of would not exceed $800,000. Maintenance cost for the next 10 years. Net operating cost, the change there was I wanted to add operating cost minus revenues. And I think that
Which
was it.
paragraph are you on, Chris?
Yeah, where are you?
This is agenda item number 2 on page 2, the first full paragraph at the top.
Graves stated.
Okay.
And the reason I was wanting to do that was to get that in the minutes so that we had those as, at least somewhere they were documented. Whether are able to abide by that, we'll see. But
And you said it should say would not instead of could not?
yes, would not exceed $100,000. And the net operating cost, which would be revenues, or operating costs less revenues.
Okay.
And then I think there was one here about, where's the repair and maintenance? Oh, maintenance cost is actually repair and maintenance costs for the next 10 years. Could not exceed 100,000. Would not exceed 100,000. I wanted to note that there were both repairs and maintenance as 2 separate items.
Okay. I will fix that.
All right, note the change in the minutes. I would entertain a motion to approve them with the change.
Make a motion.
Motion's made,
Second.
seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, thank you. All right, now, next thing we got here. Item number 5, park report. Mr. Powell.
Not really too much with the drought going on and up until today at least. We've it's played heck on some of these trees, and so we've gotten 2 or 3 trees out. Still got a few more to go. We had quite a few tree stumps throughout the park from previous trees, so I had the guys over and we dug up, got most all the tree stumps out. Just kind of been doing odd jobs, stuff like that. The plan was this week to go start forming finally for the pad for the Bobby Buck shelter. We've had it half built in our shop, the arches, just a matter of getting over there. Council approved the fence, so it's just more or less, Jared, we're supposed to plan it one day and just go over there and just do it. I received the lights for the tennis courts. They're in the shop. And once again, that's whenever they can get a chance to change out the lights for us. So, other than that, just kind of doing odd jobs and hopefully get on the shelter pretty soon for Bobby Buck. Other than that, just cemeteries. Said unfortunately, they've been pretty busy still. Other than that, just kind of just doing our thing.
Our drive-through at the pool, how's that going?
Oh, yeah, so I walked him through it just a little while ago for the meeting, so see what happens with that. I guess y'all heard. Yeah.
What did it do structurally, would you say? Did it, they went all the way through?
Yeah, he plowed through the outside wall.
Will that be covered by the kids' insurance?
Supposedly they had insurance, so I've turned it in to Eva, and so from there, they,
Well, that may help us out a little bit, not
Yeah.
the way we intended, but
so,
Maybe put a door in there or something.
yeah.
big door.
I'm curious, did you know, it's a pretty good test of the structural integrity of the building, a block fall
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that. Did
there's-
it sag or anything?
Well, we just walked it through, and it's right behind like when you walk into the men's bathroom, so there's a door there, and then I took out the partition and the sink, and then there's minor sagging, and then while we were there today, we didn't try it before, we just boarded it up, but, so that door won't close now, so
Yeah.
it's done some stuff to the door, but, it's quite a bit of damage. All I've been told is there's a 17-year-old boy, and he didn't get hurt, just hot rodding and lost control.
He had a pretty good lick.
And then I heard said the truck didn't really do much damage to the truck. But yeah,
And you said it took out a partition and some lavatories or sinks or something?
well, like the blocks, when it shoved, like they flew and hit the sink and some of the plumbing on the sink. One of the rafters, is that what you call it? It's kind of wooden, it's split, and, I guess I could've, I've got pictures both of us have pictures on us, I just didn't print any off or anything like that.
Well, I thought it might maybe reduce our demolition estimate for repairs and maintenance.
Chris, I think probably what we're gonna do, and to the board, we're gonna keep those items separate. Because it's claimed insurance.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
claimed
definitely.
insurance, so we have to keep that separate.
Roy sent me a picture of that and said, "Welcome aboard."
Yeah, he drove by as we were boarding up.
Yeah. So did the individual that did this, did he come forward, or how did all that evolve?
So, my guys go in on Saturday and on the weekends and do a morning run, trash bathrooms.
Uh-huh.
And so, it was about 7:30, and I had a missed call from the police like at 1:40 in the middle of the night. Well, then I get a text from a guy doing this morning run, and he's like, "I guess you know about the big hole in the pool." So immediately I called the police. And so that's how it come about. So apparently it happened in the middle of the night, and
Okay.
they called me to want to know if we was gonna board it in the night, which, well, wouldn't, it would just wait until in the morning anyway. But yeah, I guess they kind of done a walkthrough, because there's nothing in it to steal. And I guess they just kind of more or less done a walkthrough to make sure there wasn't anything to steal and stuff. Yeah, but other than that, it's been, we've had 2 or 3 events go on and a couple more, this weekend for Halloween. But other than that, everything's going pretty good.
Anybody got anything else for Frank?
Nope.
Thank you, Frank.
See you in a minute.
Item number 6, golf course report. Dennis is out of town and couldn't get back. He texted me and said that the October's gonna be another record month at the golf course. Last year, we did 45,000. This year, we're gonna do 50. So that's another month in a row. Casca showed up today and started doing things with the house out there. I think that's the first time we've seen them out there. They were taking out, I saw them taking out some stuff that they could probably resell.
They were low bid from several months ago, and we've been trying to get them out there, so finally they are.
They're finally getting started, so, yeah.
And their
And,
job is to do
the
what?
Boo Ha Ha is this coming weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday out there, and, been a lot of work getting ready for that, so they should be ready for that Friday sometime.
Ron has a question.
Casca, what was their job to be?
Tear down,
Tear it all down, just demolish it and
demolish,
move it off, make it an
demolish the
open
house
space.
and get it, clean it out, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And is that the Peters family company with, same deal, same Casca? Okay.
Yeah, they got that bid last spring and they just now getting to it, so, yeah, it's been a while.
Thank you.
That's the only thing Dennis had for me to report, so. Item number 7, discussion and review of the Whitaker Park Pool final plans. Mr. Paddock Enterprises.
How we doing, guys? Good. We've completed drawings. We have a week before it goes to council. I've been sick for a week too. But, basically the drawings are done. I haven't got the electrical, from the electrical engineer yet, the electrical's basically on there, except for he'll have a couple of sheets he adds to it, but it won't affect anything as far as what we're doing. And between now and council, I think the architect will correct a few things. I mean, they see typos or they see something that's not supposed to be there, they'll axe it because they got the time to do it. So, but basically we're done. I've put a bid form together, put an advertisement for bid together. I'll bring 100% drawings and specs to council. They're signed and sealed. And we've got, I put 3 deduct bid alternates in the bid form. One of them is deducting the wading pool in its entirety. The new wading pool in the whole area, just because it's a big dollar item, and if someone really wants to address that, they can. I've also put a deduct item for the zip line, aqua zip, and for the aqua climb. Basically a climbing wall on the side of the pool and a zip line attraction on the side of the pool. So those are the 3 items that I have as deduct alternate bid items, so. I don't know, do you guys want to go through a page at a time and look at the drawings here, or you've had them, they're virtually nothing different from last time to the average person looking at them.
With what happened with the accident, is it gonna change any
Okay.
structural stuff inside of the pool house itself?
Right now, I went and looked at the hole in the wall with Frank when I got to town. And I took some pictures of it, and we shut the door and kind of saw, the door jambs like a ½ inch off at the bottom and tight at the top. So it shifted some things, but it's a 70-year-old building. They're gonna be able to go in and fix it. I'm gonna send photos I have to my engineer, just so he can look at it and say, okay, give me your thoughts anyway, and I'll pass those on to Larry. But from what I see, we got one rafter that, you got slammed on the side of it, and you got the rafter that's 4 foot above where the truck basically was, but it still split it, so it got pulled. We got the lower blocks where they're intact, and then they get to where the hole is, they still have a little shift to them 4 foot down the road. But like I said, it's a 70-year-old building. I don't think it's a major deal. I mean, I think when the insurance company come in, they might want to have their expert look at it. And like I said, I'll show my engineer and just get any comment from him, but it looks to me like part of the wall needs to go back a little bit, 2 or 3 courses of block, just because of where it's shifted on the bottom of it. Looks to me the door frame needed to either be pulled out, adjusted and fixed, or replace the whole door and frame. So, there's a little bit of work there, but doesn't appear to fact. I mean, this, like the sink getting pulled off the wall, well, the sinks are getting replaced anyway. So, I don't see anything terrible on the thing.
Which we'll have to repaint that side of the wall now anyway.
Well, we've got, part of the thing is we're painting the interior and exterior of the bathhouse.
We could pull all of those monies from our insurance, couldn't we, won't they pay us to replace some of that anyway?
Yeah, we're gonna keep this insurance claim separate from, this project.
Right.
But, what he wanted to do today, so that's on the recording, what he wanted to do today was to come and look at it, so he had enough, he had the confidence that, it's not gonna jeopardize this project.
Yeah.
So, there should be a question, is this gonna jeopardize this project? And that answer, as far as we know, is no. We don't have a report from the insurance company yet. Once we do, then, we'll take bids and we'll fix it. And we'll, go in and make the repair. And then, when, we get ready to do this project, perhaps there'll be a new door facing there we can use. So, whatever, but we need to keep the damage separate from this project. The dollars are gonna be different, all that's gonna be different, so.
In light of the repair, are there some excess funds that are gonna come out of that? Because it doesn't have to be repaired fully,
Perhaps,
and those would be available to consider?
yeah, perhaps. Not sure, we're not
Okay.
really sure about that.
Okay.
But, yeah, perhaps, we'll find out. I'm not sure, if there were, I'm not sure that it would be significant.
Okay.
Did I say that right?
Sounds perfect to me.
Time will tell.
Why don't you stand up here so you can tell me when, tell me, where do we want to go now with this?
Okay, so where we are right now is review of the plans. And so any questions about the plans or anything about the plans that you're not happy with? Anything about the plans that, I mean, we've had the plans to look at for, since the beginning of October. And these are basically the same, they're just
Right.
in a little more of a formal presentation.
A little more formal for a contract.
Right.
I mean, you know, we have some items that Frank wanted to take care of in the pump room. Like a new chlorinator, like a new, when I was looking at it, we saw 2 of the jack legs that hold up filters just totally deteriorated, so I got 2 jack legs being replaced. So we're addressing a few items, floor drains in the rooms with backflow preventers, because they have floor drain water coming up from the drains and flooding the room. So, we've addressed some of the things. Frank, I guess, is going to have the motor pulled and rebuilt or checked out before this project is ready to go. So, we've approached it where we basically are brush blasting the deck on the pool to get rid of all the, looks like someone had whitewashed it or painted it at one time. And so it's an oxidized coating that kind of looks tacky, and so I'm just brush blasting and removing it and leaving it as is. We're painting all the curbs and railing that is painted and deteriorated now. We're adding a couple of lifeguard chairs. We're leaving the few lifeguard chairs that are there. We're adding some portable ones. We're taking out the dive towers and we're putting 1 meter dive stand in it. We're putting a new water line coming up for the fill line coming up at the deep end and going into the pool. We are renovating the bath, well, let's stay at the pool for a minute. We are taking out a section of the floor at the deep end to eliminate some bad cracking areas, and also we're putting new Virginia Grand Baker Act or main drains that meet codes and stuff, and we're putting a rock cushion underneath it and new hydrostatic system, which will release water back into the pool if water under the pool gets to be an issue. We're taking the drains all the way into the pump room and connecting to the pump suction. So basically we're replacing pipe and drains in the pool. We're stripping out and re-caulking all the joints in the pool. We are filling in all the light holes. There's these little these concrete boxes around the pool. We're getting rid of those and grouting them full and doweling them in so they're tight, and then the walls will be rubbed out so they're smooth and uniform, and then it'll be painted. There's a couple areas we're still showing. One area we're taking a 4x4 area out, taking it down 1 inch, recoating it, and matching the finish on the pool. And there's one area of the gutter that's deteriorated and broken off that we're taking like a 1 or 2 foot section of it out and rebuilding it. We're adding 2 play structures, one being the aquaclimb, one being the zip line, that are alternate bid items. Ladders remain as is. The slides that are there remain. Now, with all this, I've got a final set of drawings pretty much. I will go have a sit down with the health inspector that's gonna review drawings. And I'll probably do that before council.
Okay.
So he has a feel for what's gonna get submitted to him, and I have a feel for him saying, oh, you ain't doing that type of deal. And we'll make any changes he needs to make, and I'll discuss that if there are any at council. The bathhouse, we're taking basically the floor out in the men's and the floor out in the women's. And we're putting all new drains, piping, and everything in, and re-putting everything back with new partitions and things like that. Basically making it a functional bathhouse that meets ADA requirements. We're opening up the entrance of it a little bit, changing the way it enters. So, painting the interior and exterior of the bathhouse. So, we're taking that wading pool out entirely and putting a new wading pool that has a walk-in zero entry and some vertical sprays in it and a shade structure in it. And we have that being taken out as a deduct alternate. If the alternate is taken and the wading pool is not built, then they've got to concrete in the wading pool, basically fill it in with rock and make it a concrete pad and change the fencing so the wading pool is just a flat pad on the outside of the fence. So, that's pretty much the gist of it. I mean, we got ADA parking they got to take care of and all that.
Right.
You want to talk numbers?
Not right now.
Okay,
So it sounds like,
Let's talk numbers on item 9.
okay.
it sounds like to me that all of this work is being driven by, one is just to get the pool operational. That's number one. Things that don't work, that have to work in order to make it operational. It's gonna be driven by ADA requirements. Work's gonna be driven by Oklahoma Department of Health, their requirements. There may be a few cosmetic things, but by and large, we're gonna have to do this just to get the pool up and running and operational and safe, that we can use it. Is that a fair statement that?
That's a fair statement. The wading pool, the attractions, those are niceties that will improve the facility and make it where people want to use it.
Yeah.
I feel like without that wading pool, for instance, you're gonna get the same traffic driving by looking at it and saying they don't want to go there. Now, maybe if you don't do the wading pool and you do a zip line and a climbing wall, they say, oh golly, a new dive tower, we got 3 new features here. So maybe that attracts them.
Okay. And the people, kind of a follow-up, the people that have assessed this, you've had some of your folks that you know, engineers, look at it. Frank's looked at it. So that's been the group of people who have identified deficiencies in the current setup that we have there at the pool that aren't, things that don't work, that need to be replaced. And so, do you have a sense that everybody that should have weighed in has weighed in on
Yes.
which of these things need to be fixed? And Frank, I'd ask you the same question. I think I have. You're in agreement that we've looked at everything and addressed everything that you had concerns about?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, the problem is, with these things, especially on something that's 70 years old, you repair one thing,
Yeah.
and that leads you to repair another thing. And so this has been a pretty hard project to say, okay, no, let's not do that, let's do this. We can get by with this, we can get by with that. So, there are lots of give and takes that went through the thing. And I feel like, it's like painting the bathhouse. You really didn't have to paint it, but it sure looks like heck if you don't paint it.
I have to
I have to say that I'm a little disappointed that it's not gonna get a new look or a fresh look. And I'm looking at these elevations and you're using existing windows and that type of thing. I get it. We're trying to become operational. I do get it, but it is kind of disappointing that it's not gonna have an updated look.
Well, our updated look is changing the way the entrance area is a little bit. And yes, we knew what we were getting into.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but
I mean, we had a preference early on to put a new facility that all of a sudden we decided, yeah, this is
best way to go.
out of limits, really out of line to do at this time.
For the new guy, paint me a picture of what the zip line and the climbing wall, could you, a little bit?
Are they in this package
Well,
anywhere?
Not in this package, probably as far as,
Well, just kind of
Looking at
give me your thoughts on where it is and what it looks like and what it does, and
Is it one of these?
if you could, please.
So it's in the
here's the zip line,
deep end.
Okay, so,
and here's the climbing wall.
okay, and so what does it do? I mean, the zip line goes from a platform into the water, or?
It's just so they climb out of the water and lean a little bit over the pool, so if they let go or they fall into the pool.
Oh, gosh,
Okay.
okay.
So they're, I mean, it's
I was
hard down
expecting
in
it to
the
be
water,
outside.
so
They're
they're-
gonna be in the pool.
they're
So it's
coming
all
up
in the
In
pool
the
then.
water and coming up.
And the
Okay.
climbing wall.
Don, this, the way you've got this, if we decide we can't do those now, would they be, is this set up so we could add them at any point in time?
Absolutely.
Okay.
They're particular items that didn't take any, they don't have water running to them. They were able to be put on the existing deck, so they were decided on in such a fashion that, yes, they're an addable item.
Would you be able to add on the wading pool at a different time?
That was my question.
I love the waiting.
I do too.
I think it's gotta be there.
Yes,
We have too many
it's a
families.
major component.
That would be, that would be difficult. I mean, I know the answer to that question. That would be difficult because it is a major component.
It would cost more to add it on later than what it would cost to put it on now.
Yeah.
Well, that's anything you do.
Yes, yeah.
I have a
Yeah,
second
because-
question on the zip
Yeah,
line, and this
you
may
can do
not
all
be
your plumbing
place
now
for
and
it,
everything.
but did that add additional liability to the city because of those types of things, a climbing wall and a zip line?
We did not check our insurance company and ask him that question.
I certainly will.
I would say no, they don't.
Okay,
I think,
might want to know.
like on the dive tower, if we had tried to put a 3-meter dive tower, then that adds to what the insurance thinks. The 1-meter towers, the zip lines, the climbing walls, I haven't heard any downfalls on those things.
No, I think what we're gonna do, once we get it done, we're gonna have all the park board come down there and demonstrate for everyone, so that mitigates our liability.
Does the zip line go into the pool?
Yeah, that was my question. So I did.
Yeah, what it is,
We've seen a picture of it, but we
you've
don't
seen a
have it
picture,
tonight.
we don't have a picture. Basically, it's, got columns that go up and turn down over the pool. And maybe it goes 10 or 12 feet over the pool. And it goes down at an angle, 2 pieces with a center. And there's a rope with knots on it. And so a kid or whoever stands up on the edge of the pool on a little platform about this high, and they reach up however high on the knot they can reach. You know, they got knots they can choose from. And then they let go and it zips them down this line and zips them down maybe 10 feet or so. And then they either hang on and it throws them up a little bit, or they let go and it drops them down. So it's just a play feature.
And there's water underneath them the whole time, so.
Right.
Okay.
So this tower they climb up, it's pretty high then?
No, they, on the edge of the pool, if you have the pool right here, they're
Oh,
up just this high up off of it. You know, just maybe a foot.
Well, that's no fun.
And then,
You need to be higher.
and then they go up and go. And maybe that thing takes 10 inches,
18
I'm not
levels.
sure.
And the only thing you gotta remember is let go of the rope, right?
Well, if you don't let it go of the rope, it throws you.
Okay.
I mean, most people wouldn't be able to hang on to it if they
If they're-
tried to.
And there's probably one of these at some other pool around the world somewhere?
Yeah, there's a lot of them.
Okay.
Google it.
Yeah, we could, yeah.
I think it's the equivalent of a rope in a tree over the creek.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
Price,
Well, I have,
except
there was a picture of it on your drawing, one of the drawings before.
And you really did have to remember there to let
I
go.
put a picture of it.
When you came back, that tree was.
So,
All righty then.
I'll volunteer to try it first.
All right.
excellent.
I'll take the picture.
playing
Bring one of your
wading pool.
grandkids and you can hold
Yeah,
it.
there you go.
You do that, I'll try out the wading pool. I'm going for the safe one.
Smart move.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do think it's important to have them, something new for the people to look at and see. I think that's a important thing.
More questions for Don on this thing, right, at this point?
Well, I think he was asking us, do we feel comfortable that we understand basically what the scope of work is that's being done?
One thing we're not addressing upstairs in the bathroom, I think the architect said I'm putting a chain across it and putting a sign on it that says no access, and that's the limitations of where we're going with that. Just,
You gonna keep that second, do we keep the second floor on that bathhouse, or you gonna take it off?
Keep it staying.
Just stays there?
Yeah.
In the old days, that used to be an apartment
Yeah, I know.
that people lived in,
Yeah.
that ran the pool, that operated the pool.
That's a long time before
That was
I
a
came.
long time ago.
Before I came to Oklahoma.
You're old.
Yes, I am that, for sure.
So if there are not any other questions about the final plans or discussion about the final plans, then we could move on the agenda and talk about the estimated costs. But we don't want to move there until we answer all the questions about the final plans.
Okay, we can go to item number 8, discussion and possible action regarding removing from the table item number 4 from the October 6th special meeting.
You'll need a motion and a second, sir.
Making a motion to remove or table item number 4 from the October 6th, 2022 special meeting.
Second.
Motion been made and second. Any discussion?
What does that mean?
Yeah, it's,
So at the October 6th meeting,
Special.
there was an item that was tabled. And so to address that item, then we have to have a motion to remove it from the table.
At the table that item.
I got you.
Yeah, it was tabled.
Okay.
Item 4 and item 5 from that October 6th meeting were tabled. So this is
Okay.
just a motion to remove that from the table.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Other questions? If not, roll call.
Kenny Geeser,
Yes?
Reeser,
Yes?
Buckington,
Yes.
Jackson,
yes.
Alexander,
Yes.
Graves,
Yes,
Shelby.
Yes.
Item number 9, discuss and possibly recommend council action regarding the approval of the final plans for the renovation of the Whitaker Park pool. The estimated cost will be discussed at the meeting time, item number 4, October 6, 2022 special meeting.
So what he has, and you don't have these numbers in front of you, but he has the numbers, so get your pen ready to write these down.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, we got a base bid for the whole project. That includes the wading pool, and includes the zip line, includes the climbing wall. Realize it's been really volatile in bidding, and I hate it right now, but, okay, so base bid I have at $1,127,000.
$1,127,000.
Correct. Okay, I've got a deduct alternate number 1, which is a wading pool. And this includes the wading pool filter area, the mechanical, electrical, everything to do, the fencing, the shade structure at the wading pool, includes all that at $193,000. I've got a deduct alternate number 2, which is the climbing wall, $28,500.
Was that the climbing wall and zip line?
No, just the climbing
It's the
wall.
climbing wall, okay.
I've got deduct alternate number 3, which is the aqua zip, at $24,750.
20, did you say 24,750?
Correct.
Okay.
So if I could further explain, you may or may not need that. So what you're considering is the final plans with this estimated cost, sending that to council for approval.
Okay. What's the total? Anybody total those numbers yet?
Well, the total is the first one.
$1,127,000.
Oh, with the alternates, okay. That's right, that's
That's
right.
all inclusive.
And the alternates out, just take it down.
Correct.
So when you deduct the deducts, what's that number? 193 plus 28 plus 25. It's gonna be close to 250, a little less.
You're gonna,
Minus 246,250.
Okay, 246,000.
Deducts. What was that again? 246?
246, 250.
so you're gonna be about $9.8 million if you took all three of those out.
I mean, 980,000.
I mean, 980,000, yeah. That's rounding the numbers.
So, is there a number, do we have a not-to-exceed number that it would behoove us to know what that number is?
No,
Do you have a not-to-exceed number?
no, I do not have a not to exceed number.
Okay,
After these plans, if these plans go to council and all this goes to council, then I start trying to raise funds. Because we have plans, we can start to raise funds. We've got 800 and some odd thousand dollars,
827, wasn't it?
which is most,
872, something like that.
880 was that,
Most of it right there.
which
take
is
them
which
all
is
out,
most
got
of it.
880,000 in there.
Which is most of it. So
87.
then I go trying to raise funds when we have these plans.
So you're gonna try to raise probably
350.
300,000 basically, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it our role to approve how it's paid for?
No, it would be council's role
Okay.
to approve how it's paid for. What I've done on this, within this agenda is a plan
Right,
about how it's paid for.
okay.
And this body could recommend something else. But whatever this is not a deciding body, this is a body that sends.
The
Put the wading pool
recommendations
back in.
to the council.
Is it our role to
You gotta-
recommend how it's paid for?
1,073,000.
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
right.
I think you do it all. If
You wanna leave it in,
You're 3/4 of it already in, either be all in or all out. If we're not gonna build a new pool anytime soon, it'd be all in.
Sure, we want to leave the wading
Say
pool
you
in,
have
that's what we're looking at.
Do what?
Mayor, you said
I
you had
think it'd be
800
1.2
one,
is gonna be your
27.
27?
Yes,
1.3.
800 and, let's see.
What do you think?
I just said 27.
You did 1.3.
It's in your packet.
You got no
and I just have to
contingency.
go back and find it.
1.3 and you buy the steak dinner.
I thought it said
You
827.
be set it up and
827?
you hit him.
$824,882.
We did this last time.
34.
824, 824, 882.
So about 820.
824, 882. Thank you.
We have it already, okay.
So we went to council and said about $800,000 we thought we could do it. And we're coming around with the deducts. The thing that, and maybe I shouldn't be concerned, but as a citizen, I'm concerned about this. It's that same old issue of, we're working on an old facility that once we tear into it, we can estimate what we know. It's what we don't know that bites you.
When you take those concrete, the flooring out or the bottom of the pool out, you're not really sure what's under it till you see it.
We have,
They've had testing done.
Yeah.
we've done the testing.
So,
We've sent
you know,
the
there's
signals
a
down there.
possibility
Got a
we
picture.
could run into things we don't have a clue about yet.
Well, I'd say, yeah, on any renovation project, especially on something that's 70 years old,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, that, start with, there was another pool there at one time,
Yeah.
so,
Well, the thing I get concerned about is this being a good decision or not, if we've got a good business case to do this, is anticipating we need some contingency in here, which we've got no contingency.
Is there not a contingency within this 824 on the main project?
Oh, not in the financing plan.
No, but in this bid, does
In
this
this
billion
1,127,000
127 have any contingencies in it?
127, did you build a contingency in that?
Any contingency funds? in that?
I got probably close to $100,000 worth of questions in there. I mean,
What do you mean by that? You have,
past experience and the way things have been bidding and the way things are bidding now and the way I feel like they ought to bid. You know, I feel like I'm rich in some areas and I feel like that hadn't meant anything the last year or two.
so,
It's a tough time right now. I mean,
So-
Yeah.
are you saying you have $100,000 worth of fluff in this?
Well, that I consider fluff, but I really don't consider it fluff with the way things have been bidding. the
Yeah,
last
because it's gonna probably pan out.
So to answer your question, there might be $100,000 worth of contingency maybe that's built into that number.
We didn't identify it as contingency.
Right.
We're just hoping.
Right.
Weighing
And that's a big difference.
So-
I mean, that is, one's planned and one's, I'm betting on the come here that this is gonna work out. And so this whole idea of contingency to go into a project, because I think what we run the risk of is sinking so much money into this old pool that it's no longer a viable alternative. That's what I get concerned about is it becomes a $1.5 million.
But Chris, you sold us on the project.
At a certain price, yes, yes. I said I thought we could do it for this, and if we can't do it for that, well, I'll be the first one to say, we ought to back away from this.
I know you will, and you're speaking for every citizen, and trying to mitigate every bit of risk, that there possibly could be. But we're going into an old facility, and we think that we're gonna be able to renovate this old facility. And we've got all the information, I think, that's possible for us to have. Because we've gone and we've done the radar, to try to find out everything about that concrete. And we have found out that it's stable. It's, part of it has sunk down a little bit on one side of the pool, but for the most part, it's stable. We have found that out. We delayed opening a year so that we could find that out. So that's part of what we know.
We have been successful in renovating these things. For the last 15 years, we've renovated, design-wise, renovated every one of the state park projects except for one, and it's still pending right now. And so, we went through WPA pools that were renovated, You know, we went through some, most of them were over 40 years old anyway. So,
They probably built them a lot better back then than they do now, if it's like everything else in history, stuff that's
We're a third
old
of what
seems
a new
to
one
still
would
be.
cost.
So the engineering company that designed the pool that we have is the same engineering company that built Pensacola Dam. And, if that means anything. But,
Well, I think that's one of the premises that we thought it was worth going in and taking a look at. Because it had been well-constructed by Holloway back then, as well as the Tulsa Water Supply, he did that. But it does get back to, if this, I know it's a park board, if you're saying, don't worry about the money, I'll either be able to raise it or not. I think as a citizen, I look at this and go, is this a cost effective? And I think where it's gonna boil down to this project is, for me personally, I would a lot rather see, as a citizen, that $880,000 or whatever it is, $980,000, and the rest of that money be a contingency, because I just think with all the risks that are out there, you know, and we've had, another thing as a citizen, I have to look out at our previous projects. And our previous projects have come in way over, and we've had a lot more people involved and engaged in those. And we've had companies that are oversight of the construction managers.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, Don, on this project, you are our construction manager. I mean, you're gonna be the ones doing the bids, and you
So,
can,
he has not offered that service. What he has offered to do, and you haven't spoken this to them, but you've spoken it to me.
Right.
He's offered to come and supervise it, month by month, but not like being on site.
okay,
I'm
but,
not supervising the job. What I'm doing, usually on my design jobs that are in state, I do them where I make usually a 2 to 3 week observation inspection, depending on where they're at on the job. If they haven't done anything because of weather in a month, then I won't be there. But I usually get every 2 or 3 weeks of construction, I come to the job, walk around, I send him a list and tell him what I think. I can't tell a contractor what to do.
so,
But we can't.
who's the project manager, gonna be the project manager on this job? We're gonna have a
We're
project
going to
manager.
bid, it's what, you're gonna have a,
But who's putting together the timeline and what's gotta be
Okay,
done by?
that's-
Your construction.
Those are some things that we're considering on this bid. So the bid offer that's in the packet, there's a timeline on there, there's some of those details on that bid packet.
And that's all included in the cost, the contractor.
Correct.
and- Yes.
So you put money in there for a project manager or somebody to oversee the project?
There has to be money in there for the project manager, yes.
Because
I
Don's
don't
company,
understand what you're saying, project manager.
So
Um,
I think you need to explain what you're saying, because I may have a different opinion or a different concept. He may have it, so explain what you're saying.
okay, well, and make this two components. One is your 10% in this? You get 10% of construction costs, right?
Approximately.
As an architect. Is it included in this figure?
In what figure?
In
Is
the,
project management included in that figure?
no, just
That's
his
not-
architecture
The
fee,
design in what figure?
in the 1.127.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
So there's another $127,000, let's say, on top of that needs to be included. I mean, that's part of,
And we've already paid him a portion, we already voted to pay him that. And that,
I'm not talking, and to me, here's the difference. The difference is, it's not where you source the money. You want to know what your total rolled-in cost is on a project to evaluate and assess it. It's not, well, I got money here, here, and here. That's what I'm trying to make the point here, is what's the total cost of this thing? So we need to add $127,000 wherever we get it.
Okay,
So you're saying it's funded different places, but it's.
sure,
Right.
sure.
And then there's gonna have to be somebody, these are independent contractors, just like plumbers, electricians. They have a lot of jobs out there they're working on. Who's riding herd on
You have
them?
a general contractor, he's required to have a superintendent on the job, and he's the one that's, him and their project manager are gonna be the one that answers to you guys, and I'm gonna be doing basically bi-monthly inspections where I
So they're,
basically do an observation report to give to him.
A general contractor at what level? For each craft?
No, a general
It's like
contractor.
building a
So-
house.
Yeah, are we gonna hire a general contractor?
No, they'll bid on it, that's where.
that's what we're sending.
putting
You're gonna set out, part of the bid package is gonna be a bid for somebody to be a general contractor.
No,
No.
the project is going as a bid. They have to man the job.
Oh, so you're not bidding this out at the individual craft level?
No.
Okay,
Goes to-
okay.
goes to- Just like building a house.
I'm very familiar with that. I just saw these bid packets going out, and I assumed you were talking about,
What bid packets?
well, we're, the ones you've got listed
You got
here.
a base bid of the whole project, and then you've got deduct items, 3
Okay,
items.
okay, I didn't understand that. I thought you were overseeing it and you were gonna do the various crafts.
No.
Okay. But there will be as part of the project then, they're bidding it with their services included as a general,
They're a general
Contractor.
contractor, they
Okay.
have a superintendent on the job
okay.
that's
That
responsible
helps.
for the job, responsible for all the crafts that are in, doing work on the job.
Okay.
And myself, Frank, even you, if you wanted to be involved in it, we go look.
Well, no, that's a different story if you're bidding it at a general contractor level.
Yeah,
I
general
didn't-
contractor who has a superintendent, a job superintendent on the job. That's riding herd over all those different components.
Okay. So they would be the one doing the project plan, giving us status reports of where we're at.
Yeah, they have to give monthly reports, they have to give a construction schedule, they have to, you know,
Yeah,
they basically.
typical managing a
They
project.
are managing the project.
We got our date in when we want it done, correct? Or when we need it done by?
I don't know if I've got the date in or
Oh,
not,
no.
but,
I don't
and I
think,
don't think we might want them to put a date in.
yeah.
Well, that brings up another question, and that is, I think it would help us if we included the completion date in the project.
We can do that.
That we said,
Usually do.
yeah, our expectation is this project will be completed by Memorial Day of 2023, so that, and the
We
scope.
want it done way before then.
Well, we want the scope of it to be that we can open the pool on Memorial Day, that we don't get into
We want-
somebody saying, well, we got the work done, but we can't get in the
We
pool.
want to be completed a month before that.
Okay?
So you want to know later than that?
Yeah, no later than that. And it includes that the pool is operational.
Did you read the bid
Yes.
packet?
I did.
And I don't remember every item that's on there.
November 2nd is the contract documents going out for available
Okay.
to the bidders. The 22nd
Okay,
is
we're
a
getting,
pre-bid.
right, we're getting into that, we're
Oh,
getting
all right.
into another item.
Okay.
So what we like to do, Chris, because you ask all of these questions, is we like to amalgamate all of these things into one, but we've got them divided into 3 items.
Well, it sounds like here, what we have found is we've got another 127,000 that we need to include as part of the cost of this project.
Okay. We have already approved that 10%. We have already approved that 10%. We didn't know what that 10% was going to be, but we have already approved that.
How did you approve it without?
Council?
Because we contracted him to do the work. And and you know what? He's not going to do the work unless we pay him. So that came to Park Board, and it also went to council.
That amount's not gonna be included in the bid, is
So-
what he's saying.
But that's not gonna be included in the bid. We can include that in the total amount, but we're not gonna include that in the bid.
Right.
But we haven't spent that money yet,
Not all of it. We've spent some of it.
some of it.
We've hired him, yes.
But from the city's coffers, it's gonna come out of there.
Yes,
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is this project's driving that cost.
yes.
So when people are looking at it, they're gonna say it's 197 plus the 127 or
Okay.
whatever it was.
Okay,
That's my point.
that's reasonable, yeah, yeah.
And the architect's fees have already been approved, and it's funded with a plan.
Yes.
Outside of this.
Yes.
Okay.
But here's the point,
Well,
we
yeah,
funded
it
it,
would be misleading to the overall cost.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it doesn't have anything to do with funding.
but we
because
haven't,
that's already-
funded a dollar amount. Because we don't know what it was. We didn't know till tonight what.
Oh,
the
no,
estimate-
I meant the 127,000. It's
Yeah.
basically
And
funded.
until we get a bid in, we won't know what real cost is gonna be.
Yeah, that's the architect is 10% of the total bid.
Yeah.
And we didn't know what the total bid was
Right.
tonight, so I don't know what, we've approved it, but we didn't have a real
We
dollar.
approved what the estimate was.
Right.
The 800,000?
Right.
Okay. So we'll have to,
Another 80, 20, 30,000 in
Yeah.
architect fees.
okay.
If there is this unknown, and you can't put anything, you can't put it and remove the risk. You just can't do it. And of course, we're relying on you to see that you've done all those things that minimize the risk. But if there is an overrun, what would we do? What would our plan be?
Well, we would know that there was going to be an overrun. We would have an opportunity, hopefully, well before the job was completed,
Yeah, we'll know.
maybe to trim the job down, or if that
We'll
was.
You
if
just
that
have to
was
manage
possible.
it back to that number then.
Yes,
Or raise additional funds.
or raise additional funds.
Yeah.
Well, and the challenge always is, when you get halfway through a project, you get a point of no return, that you're not gonna stop.
Yeah.
No, we're not.
You
yeah.
You might
get
stop
into-
the climbing wall, and you might stop the zip line.
Yeah.
But you're not gonna
Well,
stop
yeah,
the.
the problem is,
But
you
that's
gotta
not
stop
money.
those in the first month or so, or two, because you got order problems. We're in a time where they need to get things ordered, they need to order the whole job if they can, right, to start with, just because
Supply chain.
the supply chain right
Yeah,
now.
I understand that. Okay.
So what was our original that we're gonna do here, discuss?
Well, the question now is, on our,
Estimated cost will be discussed at meeting.
on item number 9, approval of the final plans and the estimated cost. Now, what's your estimated cost are we looking at? $1,000,001?
Well,
Or
one,
the-
127,
Huh?
127, 1,127,000.
127. That's what we're gonna take.
And
to
then,
the-
and then also those other costs, which are the deduct
Yeah,
costs.
that's what we're taking to the council, though, the
That's correct.
127.
That's correct.
Okay. So that's what this
This, yeah, that's what this item.
this
number nine-
item's gonna have to
this
say.
Item number 9, yes.
Okay. So the item is,
And just for the record, no contingencies. We've got no contingent dollars in here, right?
Only that he had healthy estimates, right?
Well,
would
you
that
know,
be
that's
fair?
a problem, even the healthy estimates, you get slammed on.
Sure.
Well, this is, just one last question on this. Does the park board have any reservations about what dollar amount that we would feel uncomfortable if this project were to hit? Do we think this is worth it? Is this worth spending 2 million on? Is it worth spending 2.5 million on? We know we had a new one for what, 4.5?
Yeah, we're a third.
Around 4, yeah.
Yeah. Is there any, that's just something that you think about pouring money into these, at some point you go, it's not worth renovating this house, we need to tear it down and build a new one. And I don't know what everybody's idea on that is, but,
If you build a new one, it's 1.5, is that what you're saying? I have-
No.
no.
4 million.
No, it's
4
4
million.
million.
Huh? Oh, well, yeah.
Between
So
4 and 5.
Obviously, we have a pool, or we don't build a new one, or we have one that might have overruns in it, and it might cost a little bit more, but yeah, at what point? If there was all these things in there that really covered everything, and it came up to $1.5 million, would we still feel comfortable with it? You know, from a citizen of Pryor and what it means to the community, I would say yes,
Me too.
okay?
Absolutely.
Now, I don't know how we pay for it, that'd be Larry's problem. But we would still want that, I would think, as a citizen, I would.
I think that's a question we need to ask ourselves and feel comfortable, because really, we're kicking this off. I know the council's gonna look at it, and the council's gonna go, well, if it got approved by the park board, Larry says the mayor says he's got the money, they'll probably agree to it.
Larry has some of the money. Larry's, if,
I appreciate you saying that, because that was my understanding. You got some of it lined out, but you're,
because I've been chomping at the bit for you guys to approve these plans and send them on to council. If council approves those plans, then Larry goes out trying to raise funds.
are you comfortable with kicking a project off of this size when you don't have a funding commitment?
We got
Yes.
most of it, 800, we got
Yes.
800
Well, let's talk, we've got
Yes.
400.
So you asked me a yes/no question, and I'm giving you a yes answer.
Okay. Dan, am I misunderstanding that we have AARP funds of 400,000?
No,
Got my
we have we have not AARP.
That's a whole nother issue.
American Plan Rescue Act, we have those funds, $824,882. Did I say it right, Sherry?
You did.
$824,882. That's what we have. That's what I am going,
That's down on.
that's
down
another item
Okay.
down. That's another item down.
That's fair.
So,
So the only other caveat I have, or question I have, I'd rather do the wading pool and just make it as what it's gotta go out to be as one of the features, and the zip line and the climbing wall. I mean, to me, I think the wading pool, you're gonna get more attraction than you are anything else, and I think it would sell better.
Yep.
And just make that, the other two items not even an option, cause I just don't feel like it's gonna be.
Well,
Let's ask them to bid
with
on it.
the way I got this,
I mean, it's not much money,
It's an
but
alternate.
with
So
the
they
wait,
bid it,
with,
and if it comes
with
in
the
high-
wading pool, and not the zip line or the climbing wall, the way I figured it was a minute, 1.73 million, 750, $1,073,750 is what my numbers
it's $1
came
million,
up with here.
just a little over $1 million for it.
$1,127,000.
and that includes everything, correct?
$1,127,000 includes everything.
Yeah, but
Well, I make a motion, we do whatever we're gonna do for item number 9. Let's send it to council for approved packet that was provided by Mr. Paddock.
Yeah.
We're too far down in the road, we're too far down in the hole now, let's go.
Yeah, we
I
second.
we second,
We second.
Which of you?
both of us.
Pick one.
the motion is again?
That's my question,
approve it
what are
as
we gonna put in here
Move
to
as
send to the
presented
council?
present to the council.
We're gonna put the 1127,
Yep,
Yep,
But there are 3 deducts in
that's
there.
everything,
That's
whole
everything.
ball of wax.
that's all.
And they can do the deducts.
Yeah,
1127 is all 3 of the
Yep.
deduction items, deductible items.
Motion's been made and seconded, Bill.
That's correct, isn't it, Don? The 1127 has all 3 of the deductible items in it?
Yes,
Correct.
yes.
Okay.
You have a question on the floor. You have a
Yes, sir.
question on the floor.
Terry has a question.
Question.
oh,
Are you guys gonna ask the council to do the whole thing, or do the whole thing, or consider the deeds
do the whole
with your
thing,
motion?
I say we bid the whole thing,
the whole thing,
Yep.
and then we can make a decision on the deducts.
so,
the way the bid, and that's another item here we'll discuss, but the way the bid is that contractor will bid on the whole thing. He'll also give an item, give a bid price for those other 3 items.
So is that what their
Yes, sir.
motion is?
Yeah.
do the
Yes.
whole thing.
And so we have the option then, when the bids come in, to say we still may choose to take the deducts. I think what everybody's saying is, we don't want to take the deducts, but we don't need to make that decision
It
today.
does not need to be made.
We can go out for the full bid.
Know the answer to that.
That's correct.
Right.
We need
Yeah.
to go out for that.
And remove 1, 2, or 3 of them,
Sure.
yeah.
Right. We
At
don't
the
know what
time.
the bids are right now. We have no
I don't have any idea what they are.
Do a motion in a second.
We're
Got a motion
wishful
and a second.
thinking on things.
Yeah, but I gotta
Hope it's a big,
figure out what we're gonna have the council, what we're gonna give, what number we're gonna give the council.
One,
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 two,
two,
same
seven.
ones-
Got a
same ones
motion
you-
and a second.
Okay.
117.
The ones that you're
Okay, the
approving.
motion's been made and seconded that we approve the final, ask the council to approve the final plans for the renovation of the pool at $1,127,000. That's the,
Motion and a second.
okay. Any other discussion? Questions? Roll call, please.
Reeser,
Yes?
Buffington.
yes.
Jackson.
Yes.
Alexander.
Yes.
Graves.
Yes.
Shelby.
Yes.
Kenny Geeser.
Yes. Okay.
I wish there was a way that we could word that so that people knew we did have the option of deducts. So I don't know what we can do to make the public aware that there are, that's the full bid, but there are deducts in there that are options.
The bid packet's gonna be in the
Will
paper.
that come under how we pay for it? Will that shed light on that? Down,
I'm sorry?
will that be down here?
It's done in the,
Item number 10. Yeah.
it's done in there.
Is
Go, go.
discussion and possible action regarding removing from the table item number 5 from the October 6, 2022 special meeting. And that was,
It's Bobby Buck.
No, you just, that is,
Number 11.
it's the item that's right, it's item number
Five.
11 is what it is. But we need a motion to remove it from the
I
table.
make a
oh,
motion.
that's the fence at Bobby Buck, right?
No, I make a motion.
Motion's been made.
Second.
Or second. Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Item number 12, discuss.
11.
Item 11, please.
Item number, 11, I'm sorry. Discuss possibly recommend council action regarding funding the Pryor Park Pool renovation project 2022 with Mayor Lee's funding plan, which utilizes ARPA and additional grant funding. Item number 5, October 6th special meeting.
So, Mr. Chairman and board,
That's where I'm off.
you have this in your packet. It's a memorandum from me to you. You have this in your packet. Okay, if you could please go there. This is the proposed funding plan that I'd like to present to you.
Let me catch up, Larry.
Hang on.
Okay. Looks like this.
Keep going. We're there. Thank you, sir.
So this memorandum is intended to present a plan for funding for the proposed Wooded Park Swimming Pool rehabilitation project. Item 1 in the proposed plan is utilize received ARPA funds for most of the project. Item 2, federal guidelines regarding use of ARPA funds for this project is appropriate per the review of our city accountant. Also in your packet was an email that I sent to our city accountant asking him to please comment, and he did comment and said that it is appropriate to use these funds. Item 3, available ARPA funding after second tranche is received, which is the anticipated November 2022, will be $824,882. This calculation takes $409,553, which is 50% of the first tranche, plus $3,907, which is 100% of the tranche one redistribution payment, plus $411,452, which is 50% of the second tranche. So the reason I put that in there was so we would know exactly where that money is coming from. We got the first tranche of our ARPA funding I asked council to send 50% of that to municipal utility board, which they did. There was $3,907, which was a redistribution payment that we got from the ARPA funding. And then there is $411,452, which is 50% of the second tranche that we get in from the federal government. Okay, which we have gotten that in. It is in our bank now. So all three, and so the reason half of that is because I am going to recommend to council that half of those funds be sent to municipal utility board, because those funds specifically have been designed to use for infrastructure with water and sewer systems. And for us to keep that away from municipal utility board and using that in our community would be improper. It just would not be the right thing to do. So taking half of those funds, sending them to municipal utility board for those uses. So all three of those, $824,882, that's how I arrived at that number. Item 4, other grant possibilities and additional ARPA grant funding opportunities should be pursued once construction plans are approved. You don't go get grants until you got plans. You just don't. So that's the reason why I've waited for that. I have done had some preliminary conversations, and those conversations have been positive. That's all I'd like to say about that. Item 5, send this proposed plan to City Council for approval on, that shouldn't be October 18, that should be November, what date is that, Darla? November 1st, 2022. So do y'all have any questions for me about that plan?
Nope.
Looks good.
No questions?
Good.
Thank you.
Now's your time to talk. Chris,
Then I would appreciate a motion in a second so we can move on.
Yes.
make a motion.
Second.
You have a motion and a second.
First and second.
Have we had a motion second?
Yes.
on this?
Yes.
Okay. Roll call.
Buffington,
Yes.
Jackson,
Yes.
Alexander,
Yes.
Yes.
Graves,
Yes.
Shelby,
Yes.
Kenny Keiser,
Yes.
Reeser.
Yes.
Item number 12, discuss possibly recommend council action regarding proceeding with the advertisement for bids for the Whitaker Park swimming pool renovation as prepared by Paddock Enterprises.
Now, this is where you're going to, as Chris was talking about,
This is
put
the,
in, this is where you're gonna put, this is our total packet, this is what's gonna be done.
this is in your packet.
I saw that, so
It's
that's
the
what's going
ad-
out.
Yeah, it's the advertisement for bids. All right.
Lets contractors know that they're probably gonna bid. There's audit reports, Southwest Construction News, go to a few contractors I've talked to or know of right now.
And do they all feel like it will be bid on, or
Huh?
do you have a fairly confident that you will receive bids for it and stuff?
I've been told by one I will, and I don't feel confident about anything right now. But yeah, I think we'll end up with, I think, and of
That
course,
makes me feel
we don't
better.
know anybody else that's out there
Right.
that might come through, but, I met with a contractor in Tulsa last week, or 2 weeks ago when I was on the way up here about this project, and they were interested in bidding on it, so.
Let me go through the highlights of this advertisement for bids. I know that, Ron, you may have seen it, or may not have seen it. The dates that are on here, so in the first paragraph, sealed bids be received in city clerk's office until 2 p.m. Friday, Thursday, December the 1st. Okay, so basically they have a month review, to get plans, review, and turn in a bid. Paragraph 2, in that first sentence, available for distribution to contractors on November 7th. So if council approves this process, then these plans will be available to contractors on November the 2nd. Then the next date that's important, if you read down, go down a few paragraphs, a mandatory pre-bid conference be held at 1 p.m. Tuesday, November 22nd at City Hall. A mandatory pre-bid conference. And then tells where all the bids are going to be received, how to send it. And then the rest of that is pretty well self-explanatory.
You know, they're in the boilerplate on the plans, on the specs, there'll be affidavits
For
stuff that they have to
for
submit.
signatures.
Yeah, that they have to submit, notarize, submit with their bid.
Right. So this is an advertisement for bids that is fairly common. You'll notice on the second page, there's the base bid. There's also the deduct alternate number 1. There's also the deduct alternate number 2. On the next page, that says deduct alternate number 4. That should be number 3, should it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be number 3. We'll correct that.
And I think there might have been a typo in that deduct alternate number 1. It reads, shall delete all labor and material required, install. Probably a 2 needs to be put in there between install, required and install.
Okay,
Required to install.
Required to install.
I typed that myself.
Well, you did pretty good if that was your only typo.
That's 2 typos, Don.
I know. I'm disappointed in myself enough without being shamed by you.
That ain't nothing.
The one question.
I have on that bid form, I've got the bidder agrees to complete the work within so many calendar days. That we can decide to put in a date.
That's what I had on here. Should we have a completion date?
I want to, as soon as, I'll make a call to this contractor and just say, okay, tell me how fast you can do this job. And I'll talk to him before council or whatever. I almost would rather let them write the date and at the mandatory pre-bid say, give them the indication that yes, we all want to open, we want this project to be up and operating so it can be open Memorial Day of 2023. And let them put in the date, and then let us look at the date and see how it affects money or not.
Just a second,
Because-
Frank, so to get this project done, we would want to be able to do test run and all that stuff by the last week in April.
Yeah, it takes, normally it takes about 3 days to fill it, fill it faster, water, not as.
But we did a test run the last week of April, just to assure that we were able to open the last week of May.
Be good by the end of the month.
You get weather, you get contractor, everything pushes to the very end. Doesn't matter what you do.
Is it going to require any state inspections?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it will.
Will that be factored in the opening date?
I will work on that. I have to have approval, or the city has to have approval of the project prior to opening. So we need to be up and operating a couple of weeks before Memorial Day anyway, and I'll schedule the state guy to be there and walk around the project. So
So completed by what date to allow to open by what date? Give me, probably, would be reasonable, I think is your question, right?
Look at the calendar.
You look at May,
Memorial Day is May 29,
Okay.
So you want to be open May or April?
so you want to be open April 28th. Or you want to do a test run? What would be a good day of the week to do a test run?
Well, I would rather have it up and operating 2 weeks before that date. Because then,
2 weeks before Memorial Day?
yes, because I will try to get the state inspector up here.
It's kind of like even when I've done a normal process, I like try to have it full up and running a week to 2 weeks prior
2
to
weeks.
opening.
Do we even have the option of allowing any buffer though? Because if you're gonna do a startup 2 weeks before, have it operational?
It never works out right.
Yeah, and all I'm thinking
That's
about,
what we're saying, that's what we're saying. So if we target a month before,
That's 4 weeks instead of 2.
yeah, if we target 4 weeks, so let's say May the 1st.
Huh?
A little fluff time.
There's an extra 2
Yeah.
weeks.
If we don't put if we put a mandatory date on there, you know, and sometimes you put a mandatory date and all of a sudden you have an extra $100,000 in there just to
Yeah.
cover their butt.
well, I think that's a dilemma that we've got here, is if we want the pool to be open.
I don't think it has to be a dilemma. I
Okay.
really don't think it has to be a dilemma. I think it,
Kind of like on the tennis parking,
yeah.
you know,
Well, I think what Don's saying, if I'm understanding right, is if you compress the time schedule, then you've got requirements you can adjust, you can time frame or dollars. You're gonna give on one of them. That's the typical scenario you run
Yeah,
into.
I think it depends on the contractor. You get a small contractor that bids it and does a beautiful job, but he puts in a date that gets you to in July sometime, and you get another contractor that is $100,000 more, but he's got your
Yeah.
May 15th date in it, then you got a dilemma you gotta figure it out.
They usually let you pick one of them, and if we pick time, they say they get to pick the cost and the scope of what's in scope and what's not, if they're gonna do it, because they're gonna have to hire additional people to compress the time frame. That's typically what happens.
Also, if you put a date in there, then you will have only the bidders that think they can make that date. It'll kind of weed some of them out.
Were you saying you were wanting to let that thing kind of rest and then address it at the pre-bid conference?
I would rather.
So that they don't
let them
build
put
into
in
that.
the date and have a talk with them during pre-bid and say, you know, we were after Memorial Day and the date could be taken into consideration in choosing our bids.
and they're gonna have their bid already turned in whenever this mandatory bid.
No,
This is-
not,
This is 10 days.
This
before
is the
bid.
meeting.
yeah, it's 10 days before that bid date.
It's pre-bid where
It's a mandatory
I
pre-bid
talk to them and
conference.
then walk around the pool with them and look at it. and
So
point out things.
if this, you know, there's a lot of moving parts here. And so if that all doesn't happen with good intent, we've requested that. If that all doesn't happen until June 1st, the world's not going to come apart,
That's true.
okay? I mean,
Still
we're still
summer.
going to have a pool for the kids and it may not be ideal timing.
robbed for a week, robbed for
But, yeah, but it's,
Well, I mean,
No,
you
3 days.
or even July 1st. I mean, it's still not
Yeah.
going to be
Right.
the end of the world.
Leave it open.
But if we
And our-
get,
and our
if we get-
target-
if we get too rigid, you're saying they
Yeah.
could throw some extra money in there that
Right.
we might not want to
And we
have
might
to
not
try
have
to
as
deal
many
with.
bidders.
So-
Our target was open this season. We would sure like to open it on Memorial Day. That's what our target
Well, I've
was
had
this
them
season.
open Memorial Day, I've had them open a couple weeks later or a week later. I've had them open for July 4th weekend. And I've had them open, so they had 1 month in August to swim. So,
So keep the bid form as is.
I think so. I think we're better off. I think when we're looking at money, we're better off.
Didn't you put in here, though, a penalty if they don't make it? Didn't I see?
I don't know if you saw it, I think in the bid documents. No.
No, if you don't have a date, you can't put in a penalty.
Well, if they put in a date and then they're late,
Right.
and all of a sudden they're
Right.
penalties.
Bid security attached in an amount of 5% of the base bid become the property of the owner, I'm assuming we're the owner, in the event the contract and bonds are not executed within the time set forth.
As liquidated damages, yeah. So if they put 60 days on there, and they don't make it within the 60 days, then there's that 5%.
I don't think so.
Is that,
I mean,
so
that has to do
bid
with,
security?
I think that has to do with, they turn in a bid with a bid bond, and it goes to bid, and they, all of a sudden, they decide they can't perform the contract,
Okay,
then they have to pay up,
Forfeit the bond.
okay.
forfeit the bond.
So
they put
that
up.
would be that definition of
So,
bid security.
in the bid documents, it might say $100 per day or something like that. But
So I just think, I'm not sure that is that clear of language there that they would.
I
we-
guarantee they understand that language.
That they're only gonna pay it if,
All that's guaranteeing is they're turning their bid in and they are gonna perform the contract.
by a certain date, within the time set forth.
If they can't perform the project or get on the project, then they forfeit their bond.
By the date that they said they would have it done. I'm just,
No, this
not,
has to do with start a job.
oh,
This has to do
Okay.
with the bidder saying, yeah, I'm doing this job, and deciding to walk away and not do the job after he's low bidder.
If he pulls out because he gets other bids in and he didn't do his job and he pulls out, he loses his 5%.
Yep,
You know,
Okay.
that's what the bid security is.
so that's just another risk that we just need to be aware of, that it's, we don't have a, there's no completion criteria that says you have to have it done by a certain date.
Well,
You
there
bid
is,
it.
if they say so many dates, and I have $150 a day in it, then they'll lose that.
So the interpretation of that paragraph goes back to the paragraph before that. Says bidder hereby agrees to start the work immediately upon execution of the contract and upon receiving the notice to proceed.
It might be something we want our legal department to look over and say, are we protected? It depends on what we're trying to protect. We're protecting ourselves against who?
This is a normal big
That's
contract
fine.
I've
This
seen.
is,
Whatever
this is
you want.
standard.
So silly question. What if we get one bidder?
Then depending on the bid, and depending on the bidder, we make a decision, or you guys make a decision. We might look into, we might feel like, yeah, we've got a bidder, we don't know anything about him. We need to do some homework on him, and talk to a few people he's done work for. If he's within the money, then we might feel, golly, we're lucky we got the bidder. If he's over the money, or you get one bidder and he's at $2 million, and I say, golly, I just don't like that, I wanna put it out for a bid. And then that changes the whole complexion of when you're gonna open the pool. We rebid it, and, then we might rebid it and not have a pool for the summer. Or might have it if we get a good bidder, you know, that's,
Has that happened?
huh?
Have you saw that happen?
Oh, yeah, many times.
800,000, get done by Memorial Day, and one bidder. I don't know. We are where we are though.
Are we required to take lowest bid?
No, we're not required to take lowest bid. We're required to take the bid that is in the best interest of the city.
We gotta have a reason if we don't like the lowest bid.
Right.
Okay. make this motion.
All right.
The item is discuss possible recommend council action regarding proceeding with the advertisement for bids for the Whitaker Park swimming pool renovation as prepared by Paddock and his advisors. It's been, seconded and we're ready for.
We haven't.
Huh? Oh, it has?
We need a motion and a
I'll make a
We
motion.
haven't gotten to a motion. I would entertain a
I'll second.
motion.
Ron's got the motion,
Motion's
I
been
got the
made,
second.
seconded. Roll call.
Jackson,
Yes.
Alexander,
Yes.
Graves,
Yes.
Shelby,
Yes.
Kenny Geeser,
Yes.
Reeser,
Yes.
Buffington.
Yes.
Item number 13, discuss possible action regarding approval of the 2023 Park Board meeting schedule.
Make a motion to approve.
I second.
There we go.
Motion been made,
Thank
seconded.
you.
Thanks, Don.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
time. Be safe.
Yes.
All in favor?
Bye.
Aye, aye.
Item number 14, unforeseeable business. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make that motion.
I
Motion
second.
been made, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everybody.
Meeting.